God gave me this platform. I already know I'm going to win.
China did our vote. Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Just forget about the evidence. This was attacked.
It appears that MyPillow is very upset at the free market. The free market of ideas. Now, the conspiracy theorist and CEO of MyPillow was recently notified that one of his banks decided to drop him as a customer. In fact, Lindell said that last month, both the Minnesota Bank and Trust and Heartland Financial USA had threatened to close their accounts, and appears that Minnesota Bank and Trust actually followed through on that little threat. So now the reason, of course, being is they don't want to be associated with MyPillow, honestly. Because, look, he's been going on and on for months and months and months, spouting insane conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. He's getting sued by Dominion voting systems. He's probably not going to win that suit. And so you could hardly blame them for not wanting to have an account associated with Mike Lindell. They even said something about him being possibly having a negative balance. You know, perhaps when Dominion comes in and takes money that Mike Lindell obviously does not have. And so now, obviously, no legitimate business is going to want to be associated with this lunatic who's about to lose all of his money. And yet for Lindell, somehow this has turned both into an example of Republican cowardice and criminality.
Well, the cowards served this paper on Friday afternoon after the business close of business day. They didn't even bother to sign it. They're just cowards. Unreal. This is what it's come to, where banks cancel because and here's their reason. Based on a compliance review. Remember, 2 weeks ago they said it was because they didn't want to be in the public eye. Yeah, it really is disgusting, because it all goes back to them trying to cancel our voice, everybody. You know, we're Republicans.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're worse than
Okay.
Then you're worse than anybody out there. Then you're a Brad Rassenberger. Then you're a coward and a criminal.
You're a coward and a criminal. Unhinged. Oh, Mikey. Hey, look, Mike, you seem to understand that a company refusing to do business with you because you're a moron is not illegal. If it were illegal to do business with morons, well, then you would never have had any business except for Fox News. I mean, seriously. And look, by the way, there are rules in place that do protect certain people from, having businesses discriminate against them, because this is what he's apparently alluding to, right? Now, look, a business can't discriminate against you based on race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, disability, etc. But Mike Lindell is not a member of a protected class, so banks can refuse to do business with people like him anytime they want. Again, this is a free market, literally. Banks are corporations; they can do what they want. Okay, so now is MyPillow trying to argue that he should be a protected class, making it a criminal offense to not do business with him? I'm kind of curious now if Mike Lindell thinks that he should be a protected class. I mean, it's insane to think about it, but once again, when you go to the victimhood complex of a lot of these Republicans, a lot of these conservatives, that might not actually be far from the truth of what they actually want. Oh, no, please, protect me. I'm so discriminated against. Oh, they're coming after me. I need to be a protected class because I'm white and right wing. No, fuck off. Now, the other thing that's hilarious is that he points out, it's like, I can't believe these Republican owners of these banks would actually do this to me. Well, what does them being Republican have to do with anything? Believe it or not, there are Republicans out there that do not buy into the insanity, that don't buy into MyPillow's allegations that it's the Chinese, the Iranians, the Pomeranians, the Italians, the Hillary Clintons, the Beelzebubs getting together and conspiring to steal the election from Donald Trump. They don't believe in your nonsense. And I know, unfortunately, that's a minority of the party. I mean, it turns out, according to polling, only about a third of Republicans are not buying into the Joe Biden has stolen the election narrative. So you only have about a third of Republicans, about 30 to 33%, that actually have any sort of grasp on factual reality. And let me guess, that's the business class of Republicans. You know, the big business class, the rich. Now, those businesses know that peddling lies about the election, about 2020, has a destabilizing effect on government. It really does when it comes down to it, because it tells you that you can't trust the elections anymore. You can't trust elections, you can't trust government, and it believe it or not, it might actually discourage Republican voters from coming out and voting. If they think all their elections are corrupted and that, you know, that Democrats can come in and steal it at any time, which again is farcical and not true at all, well, then they're not going to be involved in the political process. And then the people who rely on duping Republican voters into voting for them so they can get tax cuts and deregulation, well, they lose. They hate it. And so they're like, no. Hey, stop spreading those election conspiracies or else we're not going to do business with you anymore. And that's what it is. Again, insurrection, also bad to business, bad for business. And so in that way, interestingly enough, the establishment, the Republican establishment, is defending itself and its own interests, finally, against the Donald Trump cultists. Now, it just so happens that the Republican establishment, in this case of the election, they're on the side of of objective reality. And I believe that anybody who's not just an insane reactionary can see that. That's why the business class conservatives, they're not with the Lindells of the world, but they're with the establishment Democrats. There's nothing to gain here from business standpoint. And there's nothing to gain, especially from losing our republic to proto-fascists like Trump, who at the end of the day only have one thing. They only want one thing. They only want to gain power. And of course, lunatics like Lindell, well, they just believe that they're anointed and that, oh, God gave me a special task, and that's to go and suck up to Donald Trump and then to sell pillows while I'm at it. Just complete and total insanity.